Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am so excited to share with you some new products from the Curvy Celebrations promotion, which just launched today. Now, we're going to make 3 projects today, but I want to show you all the products that are available in this promotion because, well, it's brand new. So some of you may never have seen them before. So before I get going, I'm just going to pull up my page here, or sorry, my video on my iPad so I can see if anyone is joining me and if anybody has questions about these awesome new products. So let's just pull that up here. There we go. Let's see who's here. It's got to think for a minute. Oh, Deb's here and Heather and Krista. Awesome. Hello, ladies. All right. So this Curvy Celebrations promotion, as I mentioned, just started today. And there are several different products that are available as part of it. So I'm going to kind of work through it and explain each one to you. So sort of the showpiece or the centerpiece of the promotion is the Quite Curvy bundle. So there is a stamp set it's an all occasion stamp set. These are products that will be available in the upcoming January to June mini catalog. So this is a pre-release. Okay. So you're getting a sneak or an opportunity to order these things before they're available in the catalog. Okay, so we have, look at these adorable little birds. There is a die for each one of those little birds. They're so cute. We have this cool ivy, this sort of floral spray, and then some beautiful curvy sentiments that work with these awesome dies. Now, I've got to tell you, I've had so much fun playing with these dies. Stampin' Up! Has never offered anything like this before. Creating these beautiful curved edges on your projects just adds so much wow to your projects, and it's so easy. I'm going to show you how easy it is. So in the die set, you get 3 dies that cut, well, 2 dies that cut a decorative edge. And then this one, I'll show you on a project in a minute, it cuts out leaves, okay? But I'll show you what that looks like. These 2 coordinate with these 2 images in the stamp set. And then, of course, we have the little birds and this little sprig. So we have dies that cut stamped images and then dies that just cut shapes. We also have this awesome little sprig, which we're going to see on projects today as well. Okay, so that's the bundle. That bundle is priced at $55.75 here in Canada. Okay, now I should say these 2 are not available separately during this promotion. Okay, so if you want the dies, you have to get the bundle. All right, I'm just going to say that right now. Once the catalog launches, you can get the dies separately, but if you want them right now, you can only get them as a bundle, okay? All right, then we have this awesome coordinating stamp set for the holidays called Curvy Christmas. And this is what we're going to be playing with today, okay? Some great images, again, that are designed to coordinate with those curvy edges, some great sentiments, super stamp set. Now, this stamp set is priced at $29 here in Canada, okay? And then we have the classic Christmas DSP. So our color scheme is Shaded Spruce, Cherry Cobbler, and Sahara Sand. And of course, just like all of our DSP, it's all double-sided. Okay, so we have dots and pine sprigs. We've got stripes and a grid. We've got pine trees and sort of a lattice. And then we've got stars and, I don't know, mistletoe sprigs, I guess. But really great generic patterns that are not just exclusive to the holidays, right? So that's the DSP. Now the DSP pack, you get 48 sheets at 6x6, and that retails for $15.75 here in Canada. Now, if you want the best deal on this, you can get this entire suite of products in the variety bundle for $96, and that's at a 10% discount, okay? So you can order individually, but my advice would be get the whole shebang. $96, great deal, super versatility, okay? So I'm going to show you some projects today made with the stamp set and the dies and the DSP, but then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you some projects that I made using this bundle, okay? Are you ready? All right, let's get to it. I need to keep my dies handy because I'm going to need them later, so I don't want to put them too far away. All right, first project we're going to work on today is this cute Christmas card I posted yesterday. So easy to make this card. Like, honestly, super quick. So let's get to it. So in my kit here, I have several different layers. So here I have 3 pieces of the DSP, 2 of which I have die cut using this sort of curvy die. Now, I should mention, when you're looking at the die, when you're putting it on your page, you want to be aware of which side the blade is on, okay? The blade is only on one side. So right now, the blade is at the top. So when you go to cut, you want to make sure where the blade is where you want it to cut. Because when you just throw this on there, ask me how I know, if you don't pay attention to where the blade is, you're going to cut not what you want, okay? Just my little public service announcement there. All right, so all I did was I started by cutting my piece of cherry cobbler card, DSP, and then I used that as a guide. I laid it onto my Sahara Sand DSP and laid the die alongside it so that I could get perfectly aligned and that the shapes would follow, okay? So that the curve would follow each other. So what I'm going to do then is start building my card front from the bottom up. Okay, so I'm going to start with my shaded spruce layer. I have here a piece of thick whisper white cardstock. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half and crisp it up with my bone folder because this is super thick cardstock. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay out my pieces. Now I'm not going to glue anything down just yet. Okay, so I've got my shaded spruce piece. That's where it's going to go. My Sahara Sand piece is going to layer, and then my cherry cobbler piece is going to layer on top. So as I'm layering these, I'm paying attention to my borders, right? I want to make sure that I have equidistant borders. Okay, so first we're going to stamp on our Sahara Sand piece. So here I have this cool, it's kind of like a mountain ridge with pine trees. And ahead of time, I took the time to align my stamps with the curve. So you can bend these, right? They're photopolymer. So all I did is I laid my stamp on there so that it followed the curve and then mounted it on my block. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that in shaded spruce ink. As soon as I dig it out, it's at the bottom of my basket here. There we go. So we're going to ink that up with the shaded spruce. And whenever I have a big stamp like this, I like to take my ink pad to the stamp rather than the other way around, because that way I can make sure I'm inking the entire thing. Okay, so there we go. We've inked our stamp. I'm going to line up my tree line. I just noticed that there's a little spot there that is not fully inked. Let's get that there. Oh, that one does not want to. There we go. I'm going to make sure my tree line is aligned with the curve on my die cut, and then we're going to stamp. Easy peasy. Isn't that cute? I love it. All right, then we are going to color. I did not bring my shaded spruce blends over. I'm going to use the light shaded spruce to color in my trees. Originally, I didn't do that. And then once I got the card put together, I decided that the trees needed a little bit more presence. So I used my light shaded spruce Stampin' Blends, and I just colored in my trees. Now this literally is just brush strokes. There's not a whole lot to coloring these. I'm not doing any shading. I'm just filling in the images. And you don't even have to be super careful with these because they're kind of sketched trees. They're not super detailed. So I'm just kind of brushing my brush tip of my blends over the image to fill it in. And you see how that gives it a little bit more presence. Okay, it just makes the trees pop a little bit more against that background. And I think it kind of looks like a snowy background because of the white dots, right? So quick and easy Christmas scene here. So I'm just going to quickly color these in. I may not finish all of these just so that you don't have to sit and watch me do this, because it is a little bit tedious to sit and watch. Or maybe I'll just chit chat with you. Anybody have anything exciting happening this week? I'll tell you what I have that's exciting, and that is On Stage. On Stage is Stampin' Up's convention for demonstrators. And this year, due to COVID, it is being done virtually. So online, starting Thursday evening. So demonstrators from all over the world will be gathering online to participate in this online convention. And the best part is that we're going to get to see the upcoming mini catalog that goes into effect in January, as well as Celebration. So lots of excitement in demonstrator land this week. You're probably seeing posts from demonstrators all over the place talking about On Stage. It's kind of a big deal for us demonstrators. All right. Oh, it's relaxing to watch me, Deb. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, so one way that you can get your pieces so that they align is to use your grid paper. So I want my pieces, I'm just hoping that you guys can see this. I'm going to move it up so you can see the bottom of my grid paper. So I'm putting my shaded spruce layer down. I'm aligning it with that bottom axis, okay? And remember, we want this to end up 4 inches wide, right? Because that is going to be our layer, okay? We want it to be 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to place my cherry cobbler on there, and I've got my shaded spruce, and then it's just a matter of tucking that Sahara Sand one in there to position it so that I see all of my stamped image. Okay, so then to glue it, easy peasy, I'm just going to take my, what's this called? My Stampin' Seal. Holy cow. Stampin' Seal. And I am going, I'm too excited talking about on stage here. And I am going to layer my cherry cobbler on top of my Sahara Sand, okay? And then I'm going to add a little bit more seal to the shaded spruce, or sorry, the Sahara Sand layer, and layer it, again, making sure that I'm lined up at the 4-inch mark, making sure it's nice and straight so I get a nice straight look, and there we go. There's my card front. How easy was that? So easy. Hey, Michelle, how are ya? All right, so now we're gonna add a little bit of twine or cord before we glue this onto our card front. So I am going to glue this just sort of above where the curve on my cherry cobbler layer starts. So I'm gonna put a glue dot there and another one sort of here. And then I'm going to take and lay, what am I doing? I'm going the wrong direction. I'm going to lay this across. I'm going to adhere it to my glue dot that I added. Then I'm going to wrap it back around and come back across, because there is no sense in wrapping cord around the back side of your card front when you're not going to see it, right? We don't need to waste cord there. So that way, now my glue dot's a little on the high side, so we're going to move that down, see if we can get it a little bit more even. So we're just going to take this and move it down a tad to there. There we go. Whoops. Stick. Stick, stick, stick. There we go. Okay, so now we have our cord on and we haven't wasted anything on the back. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and glue that onto our card base. So a little bit more adhesive. Hey Sue, long time no see. Glad you made it home in time to watch. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and layer this onto the front of our card. And we should have a nice equal white border all the way around. So simple, right? Okay, next I have, this is a 1.5 inch circle that I've die cut using my layering circle dies. And I'm going to grab my cherry cobbler ink and this cute little Merry Christmas sentiment, which is from the Curvy Christmas stamp set. And we'll ink that up. And we're gonna stamp that just in the middle of our punch circle, okay? Then I have this cute little pine bough image. Okay, we're going to use this a bunch today. I love it. And again, I'm going to ink up just the end of it with some shaded spruce. And I'm just going to kind of nip on at the top of my circle. And then again, a little bit sort of across the bottom. Okay, just to add a little bit of interest, to fill in some of that empty space on my circle. And now I'm ready to layer it. Now this gorgeous medallion is cut with the North Pole Wonder dies. I love this die. And I've cut it from the brass foil sheets. It just makes it so, oh, it's so pretty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and layer that on behind my label. Okay, so we're gonna add just a little bit of Tombow. Come on. I got a refill. I got a new bottle of Tombow. I wasn't kidding when I posted about whether or not running out of adhesive counted as cardio on the weekend, because my adhesive supply is dangerously low. It's like critical level. All right, so these little guys were cut from the brass foil as well, using that cute little sprig die from the Curvy Dies. So this die here, okay? So we're going to create just sort of a little bit of interest and add them to the back of our circle. So I'm going to add a little bit of tape to the back of my circle. And I'm going to have to trim these because they're a little on the long side for what we want to do. So we're going to add sort of 1 and 2 here. Okay, is that going to stick? Maybe. No, we'll put it this way, then it'll stick. Maybe. There we go. And then we're going to trim this guy off a little bit. Oh, Christy, you have some? I just put it in order. Thank you for offering. You guys are the best. Louise offered too. You guys have my back. Thanks. I just put it in order, so I should be okay. I'm actually rating my customer adhesive kits because we're not doing face-to-face classes right now, so I figure I may as well just raid those and use them up. So, but thank you. You guys are the best. All right, so we're going to pop that onto the front of our card. So a couple of dimensionals. And get rid of our backings. I chewed off my thumbnail last night. I was watching a show that was a little bit tense, and I chewed off my thumbnail. I'm not normally a nail biter, but oh my goodness, this show was just stressing me out. All right, so there we go. Okay, now we're going to tie a double bow. You ready? So here we go. We've got that same gold cord. This is from the Wonder of Christmas, Wonderful Christmas, Wonder of the Season, something like that. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody will look it up and tell me. I know you will. So I'm going to double up my cord. Okay, so I've got a double length here. I'm going to make my 1 loop with both thicknesses. Okay, and then wrap it around and bring it through. So stinking easy to make double bows with this stuff. Okay, and the cool thing about this cord is once you kind of have it tied tight, it kind of remembers and it holds its shape pretty well. It's a little bit stiff to work with initially, but once you kind of get it tied, it's going to stay. So I'm going to trim off my tails. We'll set that aside because we're going to need it again. And then we're going to just add our little bow beside our circle. So I'll just press that in. Hi, Claire Haddon. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. All right, so there we go. All right, and then our last little touch, which I also forgot, was to add some little gems. So there's some little gems. These are the red rhinestone gems from the annual catalog. I don't have any here, so I won't put them on this card, but that's what it would look like if I added them. Okay? All right, so that's card 1. Super quick and easy. I'll show you on the inside. I stamped my trees again and then added another sentiment from the stamp set. Okay? So quick and easy to make cute cards with this bundle. All right, let's move on. Next one, I changed up the color scheme and I actually used some of my beloved Plaid DSP, Plaid Tidings. I can't get enough of that DSP, honestly. Everything looks better with plaid this season for me. So we are going to switch up our color scheme. Still red and green, but I'm using different red and green. This time I'm using real red and old olive. So I'm going to just quickly clean my stamp here because I don't want to get my shaded spruce into my old olive ink pad. Hi, Martine. How are you doing? Wonder of the Season combo. Thank you, Louise. See, I knew somebody would have my back on that one. You guys are good. Thank you. All right. So here is my kit. I'm going to pull out my DSP and my white cardstock. I'm actually going to show you how I cut this layer. Okay. I did the same thing on the previous card, but I'm going to show you how to get it so that your curves line up. Okay. I thought that might be helpful for those who haven't tried out these dies yet. All right. Let me just make some room on my work area here so I can bring in my magical machine. I put a frog in my throat. I've had it for like 3 days. I'm not sick. I just have this croaky throat thing going on. It's kind of irritating. All right, so here we go. So I first, let me just take a drink so I'm not croaking through this. Okay, so So I cut my DSP first. This was a 3 by 5 1/4 inch piece of DSP. Okay, so basically half of one of the Plaid Tidings DSP pieces. So to make my red border, so I'm going to lay my red cardstock onto my machine and lay my DSP on so that it's lined up. I want to line up my edges. Okay, then I'm going to bring in that edge die. Again, I have to pay careful attention to where the blade is. Okay, the blade is on the top. So I'm going to flip it this way. So now the blade is going to be on the bottom. And then I am going to take my time and use that DSP as a guide to align my, my die. Okay, so now that that's on there, I'm going to add my top plate, being careful not to move my die, and then we're going to roll her through. And when we pull that out, we get lots of little confetti. You'll want to get rid of that, but I'm not going to take the time to do it now. And I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to use that again later. And there is our layer. And you'll see when I layer my DSP, it's going to line up perfectly, the curves. Okay, just a little tip for how to get perfect alignment with your curves if you are like me and OCD about that kind of stuff. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and we're going to glue these two layers together. So I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue here, just so I have a little bit of wiggle time, assuming my Tombow holds out. So we're going to add this, and I want just a little bit of red border. I don't want to see too much of it. I kind of like the effect of the double dots here. I think it's a really cool detail. And then we are going to layer that on a piece of Whisper White. So this is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm going to layer that on here just to get an idea of where I want to stamp my pine boughs. Okay, so if you look at my sample, my pine boughs are kind of peeking out from behind that red layer. So I'm going to position my my layer, and then I'm just going to slide it up a little bit. Okay, not too far, just enough so that I can stamp and not worry about stamping on my red cardstock. So I'm going to bring in my old olive, and I'm going to stamp once. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over to get that inside curve. Okay, it's going to kind of follow along the inside curve there. Okay, now I missed that little gap. Oh well, that's all right. We're going to move our sprig over there and hide that. Change the design, no biggie. All right, so there we go. What I should have done is done this one first and then carried along, but that's okay. We're good. We can work with it. All right, so then when I go to glue this on, you're going to see how then when I slide it back into place, that little, or the pine boughs kind of peek out from underneath. Okay, all right. Before we do that, we are going to stamp our Thinking of You at Christmas. So again, these are nice curvy sentiments that are designed to just follow along the shape of the curved dies. I'm going to ink that up in some black. Whoopsie. Make sure I get the whole thing inked. And we're just going to tuck that in right underneath our pine boughs. Okay, just like that. So now we're ready to go ahead and glue that layer onto our cardstock. So where'd my seal go? There it is. You wouldn't think on a desk area this small, like honestly, when I do my videos, my work area is pretty much the size of my grid paper. You wouldn't think that I would be able to lose stuff on an area that small, but somehow I manage it. Now, I always have trouble seeing white against white when I'm trying to line up layers. So I always have to pick it up to make sure that that is lined up. Okay. All right. That now is ready to adhere to our, actually, no, it's not. We got to stamp some little bitty stars. Okay. These little stars, these two little guys right here are my favorite stamps in the stamp set because they're so cute and they just make the cutest little accent. So, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fill in that gap with some stars. So I'm going to stamp my large star a couple of times. I'm going to do one over here, kind of trailing off the edge. There we go. And then this little bitty star, I just am in love with. It's so teeny tiny. Now here's just a word of advice when you're using these really tiny stamps. It takes almost no pressure to stamp it, okay? If you are finding you're not getting nice images from your really teeny tiny stamps, it's probably because you're pressing too hard. Like I'm barely kissing the cardstock with the stamp, okay? Isn't that cute? Those stars just filled in that little gap. Done and done. Perfect. All right, so here is my card base. And it is 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. This is real red cardstock, as opposed to fake red cardstock. Ba-dum-chomp. We're going to go ahead and fold that in half along our score line, and then adhere our card front to our base. Uh-oh. Told you I was running low on adhesive. That one's another one bites the dust. We'll use the Seal Plus to finish this one off. Man, it's a good thing I put that order in. I better get here quick. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and layer this just like that. Okay, and then I have some cute little DIY embellishments. I love it when I can use die cuts to create my own embellishments. Now, originally, I wanted to use some of the little mini jingle bells, the gold mini jingle bells, and I had them on the card, but then I realized that I wouldn't be able to mail it because they're quite bulky, and I wanted to be able to mail this card. So instead, I turned to my Sounds of the Season dies and cut 2 little bitty jingle bells from that. Same look, but much more mail friendly. So I am going to add a glue dot to the loop on one of those little teeny bells. And then I'm just going to layer them together. Okay. And then I have, this is a layer that's cut from the Christmas Layers dies. Now these were in the catalog last year. They carried over and are in the annual catalog this year. And what I love about this particular die is that you get a huge like branch of sprigs, and you can like you get so much. I actually made this card, and I'm getting enough to do this second card with just one die cut, which is awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and layer these. Now I did have the presence of mind to apply some adhesive sheets to the back of this before I die cut it, so it makes it super easy to glue these down. So we're gonna put one little sprig here, and I'm gonna turn this a little bit smaller because that's pretty long. And we're gonna put the other little sprig. Man, I really don't like not having a thumbnail. I need to grow my thumbnail again. We're gonna add this little guy kind of peeking up the top like this. All right, then we can add our bells. And to do that, I'm gonna use a couple of mini dimensionals, and they fit just perfectly behind these little bitty bells. And we're gonna pop them on. And then we have a bow. This was already tied from another project, so I am going to just press the knot into a glue dot and stick it on right at the top of my bells, just like that. Now this is the 1/8 braided real red trim, okay? Love this stuff. I can't even tell you how much of it I've used already. I think I'm on my 3rd roll. Love it. All right, and then we need a little bit of bling, right? Because every Christmas card needs to sparkle and shine. And then we're going to add some of the gold metallic pearls. So you can see on the die cut, there are some spots for little berries. So I thought, well, why not have pearl berries? So we're going to add some little pearls. You could certainly use red ones as well, but I kind of wanted to bring in a little bit more gold so that the bells were not the only thing that was gold on this card. So we'll just add a couple of little pearl berries here, wherever I see a spot for one. I think that's, oh, we got one more peeking out from under that bell. So we'll grab one more and chuck it in there. Whoops, don't stick to the bell, stick to my berry. There we go, it's gonna go right there. Okay, there we are. So quick and easy to make layers and really unique looking cards. I've got, like I've said, Stampin' Up has never offered anything like this before, which is why I'm so excited about this bundle. Okay, so on the inside of this one, I stamped some more pine boughs, okay, and then another sentiment and some more little stars, okay? Super quick and easy. You like that one? All right. Next, I have another gift card holder for you. I am the queen of gift card holders because I give a lot of gift cards. I give lots of gift cards to colleagues at work at Christmas time. My son is kind of at the age now where he kind of just wants to be able to go out and buy his own stuff. So he gets gift cards. We give a lot within our family, and this year probably even more because we're not going to be seeing people face to face because of COVID. And I still want to be able to send gifts, right? Gift cards are easily mailed, don't cost any extra postage. And so I'm really big on gift card holders. Now, this particular gift card holder, I would have to mail in a bubble envelope because it's got this extra thickness with the rosette. But let me show you this. This is so easy to make, okay? So it is one sheet of cardstock. The belly band slides off. It opens up. We have one little message, and then it opens again. We have a pocket for a gift card, Tim Hortons, of course, and then a spot to write a greeting. Okay, so super easy, all one piece of cardstock. All right, do you want me to show you how to make it? And then this cute little belly band, I made a little rosette. I haven't made those in years. It was actually kind of fun. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to pull out all my bits and pieces here. I'm not going to worry about the belly band just now. So we're going to tuck that stuff back in there. Don't need them right away. And we're going to focus on our base. So this started out as a 5.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. So I basically took an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and cut off 3 inches. That was basically it. Okay. Then I inserted it into my trimmer and I scored at 4 and 8, or if you want to think about it this way, at 3 and 7, whichever way makes you happy. Okay. So I had a 3-inch section and 2 4-inch sections. Then on the 3-inch section, and this is an important point to make. I'm not sure if you can see that little smudgy on there. I tacked on very, very lightly, so very little adhesive. I tacked on my DSP. So this was cut to 5.5 by 3. I tacked it on just to kind of hold it in place and then ran it through and die cut both layers at once. Okay, that's the only way I found to get it to line up perfectly. If you want an offset border like that, you can cut them separately like I showed you on the last card. But I didn't want to see the green. I wanted both edges to be even. Okay, now Stampin' Up does not endorse die cutting 2 layers at once, but I figured because it was cardstock and DSP, I was safe, and it worked. Okay, I think I had to go through a couple of times to get all those little holes to poke, but it worked just fine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to fold first. So I'm folding up from the bottom. So this is a 4-inch panel, and then I'm going to fold down from the top. This is the die cut one. Okay, so it's going to come together like that. And before you put anything on, you're going to want to close it up and just burnish it well with your bone folders to make sure all of your folds lie nice and flat. Okay, all right, so then we are going to adhere our DSP to the front. And for this, I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue, again, because I want to be able to wiggle it into place to get it perfectly aligned. Man, we're having a Tombow crisis here. Come on, work with me. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and layer that on here. So I want my edge to come right up to the fold, but not over it. And then I want to make sure my die cut edge is flush. Okay. So that is the front of my gift card holder. Okay, it's pretty even just like that with the plain cardstock on the bottom, but we have beautiful DSP, so we're going to use the beautiful DSP. All right, so this is a 4 by 5.5 inch piece of the classic Christmas DSP. And I'm going to bring back my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and we are going to cut this. Now, when we're cutting, we want to think about the fact that we are going to use both halves of what we cut. Okay, I'm going to show you my sample again. So we're going to use the decorative half with the dotted border on this panel, but then the other piece that we cut off here, we're going to use for a pocket on the inside. So no waste on this. So we want to make sure that when we're cutting that we have enough of a piece here to hold our gift card. Okay, you don't want to end up with a really skinny piece and not have it hold your gift card. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so I'm going to lay my cardstock onto my platform. And again, I'm going to bring back my little dotted die here. My blade now is at the bottom, okay? So I need to think about the fact when I put the blade down, or when I put the die down, the blade's going to be at the top. So this bottom section is what I'm going to see on this part here. Okay, so I just want to make sure that when I cut this, that I have a large enough section here. I'm just going to slide down just a touch to make sure that it will hold my gift card. So then we're going to pop on our top plate. And oh, I'm glad you guys are liking the tips. I had to play with this for a little bit to kind of figure out the best way to use it. So if I can save you some frustration, I am happy to do so. So let's get this off. Look at this. It's stuck to my platform because of all the little bits. All right, we're going to get rid of that. Get her out of the way. And we'll get this out of the way. So now I have my panel to go in here. All right. And I also have a piece that is 5.5 by, what is this, 3? Yes, 5.5 by 3. It's Whisper White. And it is going to get glued to this inside panel, so this bottom panel of my gift card holder. So the Whisper White is going to go on first. Okay, it's going to go there. And then this piece is going to layer on top like that. Now, again, I'm not going to glue this down yet because I'm going to do my stamping first. Okay, it's always better to stamp first and then glue, because sometimes if you make a mistake and it's already glued down, you're kind of out of luck. All right, so I'm going to bring in my Thinking of You at Christmas stamp. I'm just going to stamp it off to clean it. It just had black ink, so I think we're good. So I'm going to ink that up in the shaded spruce, and it's going to follow the curve again. So we're going to kind of stamp along that edge. Okay. And then I'm going to bring back my pine bough branch, or pine bough stamp, or pine branch stamp. I think that's what I was trying to say. Sometimes my brain works faster than my mouth can keep up. It happens when I'm teaching too. My kids look at me like, what is your problem, woman? All right. So here we have our pine branch. So we're going to, again, follow that curve and stamp along the edge of that die cut panel. Okay, just like that. Now I can go ahead and glue it. Now that I've stamped that and everything's the way I like it, I can go ahead and glue. So we're going to apply a little bit of adhesive to our white layer. I may have to do this with the seal because my Tombow is not gonna hold up. So we'll add the seal, and again, I'm going to adhere this so that it is flush. Easier to see if I do it without a green background behind it. Okay, so we want that to be flush. And then we are going to go ahead and layer this on. And I want to make sure when I'm gluing this that it only goes up to the fold, not over it. Okay, so again, we'll add a little bit of seal. I love these trees on the back too. Honestly, this paper is so cute. All right, so let's pop this on. And again, we're going to just line up our edges, make sure that's nice and tidy. Okay, so now we have our inside panel. And then on the very inside, we are going to add our leftover for our pocket for our gift card. Okay, so when we're adding our adhesive, we want to just go right along the outside edge, right along the bottom edge, and again up the outside edge, because we want to make sure we have that pocket to tuck our gift card into. So that is going to get adhered right flush with the edge of that section. Okay, and then our gift card, let's just check it. Our gift card will tuck right in there like that. Okay, you could also tuck money in there. You could tuck checks, lottery tickets. How fun would this be for a stocking stuffer for a lottery ticket? In our family, we don't play the lottery. It's just not what we do. But at Christmas time, we all get lottery tickets in our stockings just because it's fun. Scratch tickets, right? Gives us something to do on Christmas Day. Not that we ever win anything more than $4, but it's fun. All right, so now we have our panel to go on the inside. This is where we're going to write our greeting. This is cut to 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so again, we are going to take our little pine branch and we're going to stamp it along that bottom edge. So we'll do it a few times, and I like to do this so it's kind of going off the edge and then back on, and then I'll turn this around and kind of get it this way. Okay, and then we're going to add our sentiments. So we're going to use May Your Days Be Merry and Bright, and this one I'm going to play around with the alignment. So this stamp, if you just kind of take it off the sheet, you're going to see it kind of goes up at the edge. Okay, and I kind of wanted it to be wavy at the beginning and at the edge. So we're going to put this on, and then I'm just going to kind of bend it down as I'm sticking it onto my block. Okay, and then you kind of see it kind of is wavy in both directions, which kind of mimics the curve on the front, right, that we die cut. So we're going to add, did I do this in red or did I do it in black? I did it in red. Let's do it in red. So we are going to ink up our sentiment with some cherry cobbler ink. And again, take the stamp to, or the pad to the stamp to make sure that we get even coverage. And we're going to stamp that right on there like that. Okay. And then I'm going to bring back my cute little stars. We're going to add a couple sort of around the sentiment. And then a couple down sort of in the pine boughs. Kind of like ornaments. And then my little itty bitty adorable teensy tiny, oh, didn't quite get enough ink on that guy. That's okay. Clearly I hit a dry spot on my pad because everything else is just fine. So we're going to just add a couple more little stars here. A couple of these. We'll do one little guy there. And there we go. Isn't that cute? Oh, love these little stars. They are going to show up on many a project in the next couple of weeks, I can tell. All right, so we're ready to go ahead and glue that inside our card. So a bit of adhesive. And we're going to just center that on that inside panel and adhere it into place. Okay, so there is our little gift card holder. Now we're going to make a belly band to decorate. All right, so let me show you how I did that. So here I have more goodies in my kit. So we'll dump them out. So to start, which one is my, I guess it doesn't really matter. So here, this is a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock. Now I'll just say, you know, remember when I said to get this base, I cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I cut three inches off. If you wanted to, you could use that leftover, that scrap, to make your belly band. I just wanted a contrasting color because I wanted to be able to use this gorgeous ribbon. But you could totally use that scrap that you cut off for your belly band, and then you wouldn't have any waste from that as well. Gotta love zero waste, right? Okay, so to make my belly band, again, 11 inches by 1 1/4. Yes, 1 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to just lay my little gift card holder on top of my strip of cardstock, and I'm going to very gently sort of hug it. That's kind of how I think about it. I'm hugging my project with my cardstock. Okay, and once I kind of get it in position, I'm hugging it loosely. I don't want this to be super tight because I have to keep in mind I want to be able to slide it on and off, right? If I do it too tight, I'm not going to be able to slide it back on once I get it off. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you are hugging your project to make your belly band, that you're hugging it loosely, not holding on too tight. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of adhesive onto our cardstock here. Come on, work with me. And for this, I normally like to use Tombow because, again, it gives me that wiggle time to make sure my edges are aligned, but we're just going to live dangerously today. Okay, then we have, this is just a scrap of more of that gorgeous Wonder of the Season. So this ribbon comes in a combo pack with this gold cord. Okay, so you get both. You get 5 yards of each in the pack. So this is going to just wrap around. So this is a scrap piece that was left over from my retreat kits that I was putting together to mail out. So we are going to layer this, and you're going to see that my cardstock piece is just 1/8 of an inch on either side wider than my ribbon. Okay, that was by design. So I'm going to add some adhesive right down the middle of my my cardstock strip, and I'm going to center this very carefully. Okay, I'm going to bring it around. I'm going to add a little bit more adhesive to the back side. Again, we're going to center that, make sure it's nice and even, and then bring it back up and around. I'm going to add a little bit more adhesive where it's going to overlap. You could use glue dots for this as well, but the Stampin' Seal Plus is strong enough to adhere ribbon, which I love. All right, so we're going to get rid of that. And there is our ribbon. Okay, done and done. All right, now to make this little medallion, I did a bunch of this ahead of time because honestly, doing this accordion fold is tedious to watch. So I didn't want to put you guys through that. So the way these started was, these were 1 by 6 inch strips of the DSP. Okay, 1 by 6 inches. And then I put it into my Simply Scored, and I scored every 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And then once I had all my scoring done, I did a fan fold. So fold one way and then the other. It's like an accordion fold, right? Remember when you were a kid and you made paper fans? That's exactly what these are. So I did that twice because one was not quite enough. I wanted my medallion to be a little bit fuller. Okay. So then I added some sticky strip to one end of each little strip. So this, again, 2 6-inch strips. So I'm going to get rid of my backing, and then very carefully I'm going to adhere right at the fold that ends of these two. Okay, so now it looks like one continuous piece. Okay, if you have 12 by 12 cardstock, you don't need to do 2 strips. One is enough, a 12-inch strip. But with a 6 by 6, you need 2. Okay, so then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. Peel off my backing. And again, we're going to layer those and adhere the folds so that they are flush. Okay. So then we have something that looks kind of like a funky lampshade. To make our medallion, all we do is sort of squish it in the center and then pinch it inwards. Okay, now this isn't going to stay because I have to adhere it, but that's what we're going for. Now, normally when I'm doing mass production of these, typically when I make these, I make a whole bunch at once, and I use hot glue because it sets up really fast. But I didn't want to get my hot glue gun out for this, so we're going to use some sticky strip and hope it holds. Okay, so I have here, this is just a 1 3/4 inch circle, just punched from coordinating cardstock. I put a whole bunch of sticky strip on the back of this. You could also probably use the adhesive sheets if you wanted to. I just find, I used a punch to cut the circle out, and I find the adhesive sheets do not work especially well with punches. They tend to jam up your punch. So that's just a little word of caution. Do not use the adhesive sheets with your punches, only with dies. So we're just going to peel all these backings off. And you know, as I was putting the sticky strip on this, I ran out of that too. It's not sticky strip, tear and tape. Used to be called sticky strip. Yeah, my adhesive situation is rather desperate. All right. So I'm going again to squish this into shape. I'm actually going to do it from this side because this is the back side. So I'm going to squish it into shape and kind of hold it with my fingers. I'll move this up so you can see. And then with the sticky side down, I'm going to place my circle in the middle and press. Okay, and that hopefully will hold that into place. Now again, normally I would use some hot glue and just press and hold it, and in like 20 seconds it would be set. But this should work. Sticky strip, or the tear and tape, is pretty strong. Okay, so there's my little medallion. We're going to set that aside for a minute. We're going to bring back our Merry Christmas stamp and the cherry cobbler ink. And we'll just stamp that. This again is a 1 1/2 inch circle. So we'll pop that on there. And then we're going to bring back that little pine bough stamp again and add a little bit of pine bough on the bottom of this time, just on the bottom. Just about there. And then just like last time, we're going to layer this on one of the brass medallions again. I love the combination of the brass, the cherry cobbler, and the shaded spruce. It's a very rich combination for me. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and layer that. We will see if the Tombow decides to give us enough. Oh, look at that. It did. Gotta love it. All right, so we're going to pop that onto there. I like the Tombow when I'm centering circles because it gives me that time to wiggle it into place. Okay, and then this is going to get layered on here. Now, when I did this one, what I used was some crystal effects, some of the shimmery crystal effects to hold that. So I'm going to actually grab that because it is the strongest adhesive we carry. And once it dries, it is not going anywhere. I'm telling you. So we are going to go ahead and add, that's not centered, there we go. We're going to add a bunch of this stuff to the back of our circle. Come on. Again, I need more of this stuff too. Come on. Okay, so I like to put it on and then just kind of smear it around with the tip. Like that. And then we'll pop that on in the center of our medallion. Now this does take some time to set up, okay? So if you put it on there and you feel like it's not holding, give it an hour and it'll hold. Okay, it does take some time to set, especially because we've used a lot. All right, but there's our little medallion. And then we are going to add another gold cord double bow. So in case you missed it the first time, we're going to double up our cord, make one loop, and then wrap the left around and bring it through. Okay. All right. Oh, Jen, you're having lag problems. Is anybody else? I hope this is working. I hope. Nothing makes me crazier than when my live videos don't work. It's so much work to design and shoot a video and then have it not record properly. It's kind of annoying. All right, so there is my bow. We're going to add that. So glue dot and then add that to the top of our little medallion here. Okay, and then that is going to go onto our belly band right about there. And again, this stuff is not set up. Once it's set, it'll sit nice and flat, but it's not right now. So I'm going to add some dimensionals if I have enough. I do. Right to where I want my medallion to go. So I'm just going to put 3 and we'll get rid of that. Okay, Laura, yours worked. Okay, Heather, yours worked. All right. Okay. I'm the queen of the bows. Am I, Martine? I don't know. I just find bows really quick. I mean, I've tied a million of them, so I don't really have to think too hard about it, but okay, there we go. Isn't that cute? So cute. All right, let me clean up my mess because I've got dimensional backings and tear and tape backings and you name it all over the place here. And I'm going to bring back our other projects. So there we go. 1, 2, and 3. So 3 cute Christmas projects using the Curvy Christmas stamp set and the Curvy dies. Now I'm going to show you some more projects that I designed using the other stamp set, the Quite Curvy stamp set. So let me bring them in. These are all going to post this week on my social media, so don't worry, okay? You will see these again. So I was playing around. So here is another Christmas one. I'll show you this one first just because it uses the same DSP, but I use that filigree edge die. So this one here, okay, and it cuts that really pretty filigree edge. So that's that one. And then I was playing around with sort of non-Christmas ones. So remember that leaf die that I was talking about? This one? Okay, it cuts out this sort of vine. So it embosses the vines and cuts out the leaves, which is just so cool. Again, totally unique. We've never had anything like this before. So I thought it was just sort of a fun border. And then I also die cut the edge with the dots. Okay, so really pretty. So that's that one. And then I was playing around with the stars, sort of those shooting star stamps in the Christmas set. So the sentiment is from the Quite Curvy stamp set, and then the stars are from the Curvy Christmas. Okay, so again, I wanted to make a fun congratulations card. So I did that. And then I was playing around. I did this one first. So I was playing around with the vine image and die cut and those adorable little birds. And of course, more of my beautiful plaid paper. So I used the little birds. I colored them with my Stampin' Blends. I just used the crumb cake to color in my birds. And then I used Dark Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie to color my leaves. Okay, so there's a fall one. And then I did one sort of for spring and summer with some little bluebirds. And then I did one for Christmas with some red cardinals. Well, they don't quite look like red birds. Red birds, they don't really look like cardinals. They don't have the crest on the top of their head. But again, I thought it was kind of fun just by changing up the color scheme, same exact card, but to show how easy it is to make cards for any occasion with this bundle. So I hope that gives you some ideas for this awesome bundle. And again, these will all post on my social media throughout the week. Okay? All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I hope you check it out. It is a really awesome bundle. I will post the link to the bundle in the video description as soon as I am done. All right? Okay, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you again next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.